Seedling lodging is one of the most common and unpleasant problems faced by gardeners and vegetable growers in the early stages of cultivation. Everything seems perfect. The seeds have sprouted, young plants have appeared, and then suddenly they start to wilt. The stem thins out at the very surface of the soil, and the plant simply lays down and dies. Losses can be huge, especially if the disease spreads to the entire crop. That is why it is important to understand what causes this phenomena and how to prevent it in time, especially if we want to avoid chemicals. Seedling lodging is caused by various fungi and bacteria that attack the sensitive stem and root of young plants. Most often, these are pathogens from the genera Phytium and Fusarium, but also certain bacteria infections. I don't know how important this information is to you, but it is good to know it. These microorganisms are naturally present in the soil, but they become a problem when we provide them with ideal conditions for development: high humidity, poor drainage, and compacted soil. The disease can appear just a few days after germination. At this stage, plants are most vulnerable because they haven't developed a strong root system or a sufficiently strong stem. If the conditions are unfavorable, pathogens quickly attack the tissue in the area of contact between the stem and the soil, where it narrows, darkens, and rots. So, why do seedlings get sick and fall? The key cause is a combination of the presence of pathogens and weakened plant immunity. Microorganisms are activated when the environment suits them, and plants are further weakened by improper care. Now we're going to list the common factors that contribute to the occurrence of this disease. First, excessive humidity. A constant wet soil is an ideal environment for the development of this kind of fungi. The second is poor drainage. Water retention in containers without drainage holes or in heavy soil favors the spread of infection. The third is too dense planting. When plants are compacted, air doesn't circulate, moisture is retained, and the disease spreads more easily. The fourth one is lack of light. Poorly lit plants are elonged and weakened and therefore more susceptible to infections. The fifth reason is extreme temperatures. Both too high and too low temperatures create stress and reduce the resistance of seedlings. And the sixth reason is contaminated soil or seed. If pathogens are already present in the soil or on the seed, the risk is significantly higher. It is not difficult to recognize seedling lodging if you pay attention to the first symptoms. The stem becomes thin and dark at the bottom where it touches the ground. The plant suddenly wilts and lays down even though the soil is moist. The roots may turn brown or black and show signs of rot. When you notice these symptoms, it is important to react immediately to prevent the spread of the disease to the healthy plants. In natural cultivation, the emphasis is always on prevention. Even if there are no signs of disease on your plants and you have had problems with lodging in previous seasons, it is advisable to apply natural preparation as a preventive measure. It is much easier to prevent the development of the disease than to suppress it later. How to prevent seedling lodging? First of all, it is important to pay attention to the quality of the soil. For sowing, use a proven, light, and sterilized soil. If you make your own mixture, you can heat it or treat it with natural disinfectant. Adding perlite, sand, or coconut fiber improves the structure and allows for better drainage, which in the end reduces the retention of excess moisture. Watering must be moderate and controlled. The most common mistake is overwatering for fear of drying out the plants. Water in the morning so that the surface of the soil dries out during the day. Use a sprayer or water from below throughout the tray. Containers must have drainage holes. That is very important for this. Natural preparations can be a strong ally in prevention. For example, chamomile tea contains mild antifungal properties. You can water the seedlings with the cooled tea once a week. Cinnamon powder acts as a natural fungicide. Sprinkle it lightly on the surface of the soil. A solution of sodium bicarbonate, just 1 teaspoon per liter of water, can be used for gentle misting of your plants to prevent disease. We also have garlic extract, prepared by soaking crushed cloves overnight, has an antibacterial property. It is enough to add 4 to 5 cloves to 1 liter of warm water. Diluted 3% hydrogen peroxide can be used to disinfect containers and your soil. Milk diluted in a ratio of 1 to 10 is used to strengthen the plants, while whey additionally contributes to resistance thanks to beneficial microorganisms. Nettle extract strengthens the plant, but you should be careful with it because it contains more nitrogen, which can stimulate lush growth of foliage. Air circulation shouldn't be neglected either. Leave enough space between your plants. If you are growing seedlings indoors, ventilate occasionally or use a small fan to prevent moisture retention around your plants. That is always a good idea. With larger quantities of seedlings and professional production, some producers still choose chemical protection in order to reduce the risk. One of the most frequently used preparation is Previcor Energy, which provides preventive and systemic protection against lodging of seedlings and early blight. It works on the development of roots and helps plants to bear stress more easily after transplanting. It is recommended to apply it immediately after sowing and then repeat the treatment after 2 weeks or after transplanting to the soil when the plants reach about 10 centimeters in height. The roots and soil around the plant are watered against lodging. The usual dose is 2.5 milliliters of the agent per 10 liters of water, which the consumption of about 200 milliliters of solution per seedling. Of course, I mean these large seedlings that we plant directly into the garden. The soil should be moderately moist, not dry, but not too wet either. It is important to emphasize that plant protection products must be used carefully and in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Always read the label and follow the recommended doses. However, the advice is to first meet all the conditions of proper cultivation and try natural methods before reaching for chemical solutions. We are always here to share with you our recommendation and recipes for natural methods. We bring you advice on time because natural preparations are used preventively. If you don't have problems with this disease, definitely try using chamomile, milk, cinnamon, and other natural solutions that we have suggested because that's the only way you can avoid laying down while using natural solutions. Save your seedlings in this way. Seedling lodging is a serious problem, but with good organization and timely measures, it can be successfully avoided. Quality soil, moderate watering, enough light and air, and preventive use of natural preparations significantly reduce the risk of this disease. So react in time, nurture the plants carefully from the very beginning, and you will ensure a strong, healthy seedling ready for transplanting without unnecessary losses. We hope you found this video useful and that you will successfully grow your plant seedlings, and be sure to share your experiences with us in the comments. Support the video with a like and share it on social networks with your friends so that others can benefit from our advice too. Thank you for watching and for your support, and good luck with the growing of your seedlings.